Distance Learning with Miss Sorensen.
Hi friends, welcome back from break. It's so good to see you again. I hope everyone had a nice break and stayed warm inside while it was snowing out last weekend. Well, today is Monday, which means it's another Hawks United Day. It's still the month of February, so we're going to continue learning about Black History Month. We'll probably continue talking about it into March. And we're going to continue talking about some important vocabulary words when we're thinking about our history and the history of Black peoples. A few words that we're going to be discussing today, you might have talked about in your class already. One of them is this word right here, prejudice. Prejudice. Raise your hand if you talked about this word in class, prejudice. Great. Okay, I see a lot of people are raising their hands. Right. Prejudice means to judge someone or a group of people in a negative way without getting to know them. I really liked this picture that Mr. Gallagher found that he used in his vocabulary cards for our kindergarten team. If you see here, we see a triangle who's waving and smiling and saying, "Hi, I'm a triangle." And then we see this big frowny circle who's saying, "I hate triangles." What? Do you think that the circle even had a chance to get to know the triangle? Do you think he even asked the triangle's name? I don't think so either. He judged the triangle unfairly. He treated the triangle very disrespectfully and judged him negatively just because he was a triangle. How do you think the triangle is feeling after the circle says, "I hate triangles"? That's what I'm thinking too. Right, sad, upset, angry, right, confused. Why does this circle hate triangles? Why did it judge me negatively when it didn't even get to meet me? Right, that's what I would think that the triangle is thinking right now. Especially because in the picture, he looks so excited to meet Circle. And then Circle says, "You're a triangle? No way." It's one of our words, prejudice. Judging people negatively without getting a chance to know them. Another word we're going to talk about today, it might have been a word that you talked about in your class. It might not have been. We talked about this word in 104 a little bit. The word is unapologetic. Ooh, that's a long word. Unapologetic. Do you have a guess what that word might mean? Do you have an idea? Unapologetic. Do you know what apologetic means? I see a couple of people. Oh, I hear a couple of things. Right, apologetic means you feel sorry for something. You're apologizing. Apologizing means saying you're sorry. You feel sorry about something. So what do you think unapologetic might mean? Right, unapologetic means that you are not sorry for something. Sometimes people can be unapologetic for being mean. If you think about the circle, he might be unapologetic for saying that he hates triangles. He just thinks, "I don't care. I'm not apologizing for hating triangles." We can also think about unapologetic in a positive way too. You can be unapologetic for who you are. That triangle is not going to apologize to that circle for being a triangle. He says, "I like being a triangle. I like having 3 corners and 3 sides. I'm not apologizing for that. I like who I am." We were talking about how prejudice is when you judge somebody negatively about something. People get judged for a lot of different things. For their gender, how they identify as a boy, a girl, other. People can have prejudice against people's religion, what someone believes or how they worship. People can even judge or have prejudice against someone's age. Maybe they say, they cannot climb that hill because they are way too old. Or there's no way they know how to read because they're younger than kindergarten age students. But that's not true. Some people learn how to read certain words before they come into kindergarten. There are many older people who climb hills, climb mountains. They're just judging them or having prejudice about someone just the way that they see them or how they hear about them. But they didn't give them a chance. They didn't get to know them more. People are also judged unfairly or negatively by their ability. Ability. That's what somebody can do. Ability. Maybe somebody judges somebody or has prejudice against somebody who's in a wheelchair and says they can't be in a race. They're in a wheelchair. There are many people who are in wheelchairs, who are missing legs and have prosthetic legs made out of metal or plastic, that run in races. It does not stop them. How do you think that person would feel if somebody said, well, you can't run in a race because you're in a wheelchair? Do you think they're going to say, oh, I'm so sorry. I should not be in this race because I'm in a wheelchair. I'm so sorry. Or do you think they say, well, you know what? I am unapologetic for what I look like, how my body acts. Right. Unapologetic means you're not apologizing for that. You are proud of who you are and what you can do, no matter what somebody might think. You can just brush them off and say, I am not apologizing for who I am. I love me. We're going to read a book today. It's called The Day You Begin. We read this book in my class. This might be a book you have read before. We're going to learn about Angelina and how she feels coming into school, seeing people who have different skin tones as her, different skin colors, seeing people who have different hair than her, and how she feels about that. I want you to keep thinking about those words: prejudice, being judged unfairly without someone getting to know you, and that word unapologetic, not apologizing for who you are, for what you can do. Something that I dealt with in school was that I was judged negatively for my height. I'm very tall. And in school, I got teased because I was super tall. But I am unapologetic for how tall I am. I love being tall. And if somebody wants to judge me for that without getting to know me, that's their loss. I hope that someone would try to get to know me more than just how tall I am, or for having super long brown hair. I hope that somebody would take the chance to get to know me more. So let's take a look in this book and, look and book, rhyming words. Let's look in this book and learn a little bit about Angelina. The Day You Begin by Jacqueline Woodson and illustrated by Rafael Lopez. I love the artwork in this story. The Day You Begin. Oh, we see her. She's sitting in her, it looks like maybe an apartment. She's reading a book. Let's find out more about Angelina. There will be times when you walk into a room and no one there is quite like you. How could somebody be different than her? What are some things that you can think of that somebody might be different? Yeah, her hair, her skin color. There's some other things that might make her different than somebody else. Right, maybe her likes and dislikes. Maybe she really likes to play soccer. Or maybe she really likes to do artwork. Maybe somebody else doesn't like those things. Is it okay to be different from somebody else? Yes, of course. That's what makes us beautiful. Maybe it will be your skin. We talked about that. Or your clothes. Or the curl of your hair. Not one person is the same. Nobody will ever be the same. There will be times when no one understands the way words curl from your mouth, the beautiful language of the country you left behind. My name is Rigoberto. We just moved here from Venezuela. And because they don't understand, the classroom will fill with laughter until the teacher quiets them. Our author is saying that people are judging Rigoberto negatively. They have prejudice against him and they're laughing at him because they don't understand the words that he's saying, because he has a heavy accent. He is from Venezuela. Do you think that's kind? No. Rigoberto, from Venezuela. Your teacher says so soft and beautifully that your name and homeland sound like flowers blooming the first bright notes of a song. Oh, the artwork, it just amazes me. So beautiful. There will be times when the words don't come. Your own voice, once huge, now smaller. When the teacher asks, "What did you do last summer?" Tell the class your story. "We went to France," Kayla says. "These shells come from a beach in Maine." And boy named Jonathan holds out a jar filled with tiny shells, so fragile. They look like they'll turn to dust in your own untraveled hands. "My whole family went to India, Spain, South Carolina." Each souvenir a small triumph of a journey. Their travels go on and on and on. How do you think Angelina is feeling right now, hearing about everybody else's travels? She's kind of looking sad. The colors in the picture makes me feel her feelings. They're kind of darker colors, whereas the students who are sharing about their travels have bright colors with lots of fun things to share. As you stand in front of that room, you can only remember how the heat waved as it lifted off the curb and your days spent at home, caring for your little sister, who made you laugh out loud and hugged you hard at nap time. You can only remember the books you kept on reading long after she'd fallen to sleep. And in that room, where no one else is quite like you, you'll look down at your own empty hands and wonder, what good is this when other students were flying and sailing and going someplace? So she's feeling sad feelings. She's feeling maybe left out, sad that she doesn't get to travel like they got to travel. Thinking right now, do you think that she's apologetic for what is happening in her life, or do you think she's unapologetic? Maybe a little bit of both, right? She might be sad. Does that mean that she's unapologetic? No. There will be times when the lunch your mother packed for you is too strange or too unfamiliar for others to love as you do. Do you think people are showing prejudice right now? They're judging her unfairly because of the food that she brought from home? Yeah, right. They're whispering about her. She's sitting all by herself. She's just being judged because of her food. Can you imagine being judged because of the food that you put in your belly? The food that makes you feel full and happy and healthy? That makes me feel very sad. When even your own friend, Nadia, will wrinkle her nose and say, "What's in there anyway?" And you'll wonder how she doesn't see the rice beneath the meat and kimchi. You'll wonder why she doesn't remember that rice is the most popular food in the whole wide world. There will be times when the climbing bars are too high. The run is too fast and far. The game isn't one you can ever really play. I don't want him on our team. You can watch. Maybe you can have a turn later. There will be times when the world feels like a place that you're standing all the way outside of. Look at the artwork. Look at what this author is showing us with her art. She's showing us how sad this little boy is right here by showing these friends are together, they're laughing, they're playing, there's bright colors and flowers. And then when we look over here at our friend who's very sad right now and feeling left out, there's no bright colors or flowers or plants of any kind. He's all by himself. And all that stands beside you is your own brave self. Unapologetic. Steady as steel and ready, even though you don't yet know what you're ready for. He's saying, you know what? I'm feeling sad, but I'm also brave and strong, and I'm awesome in my own way. Unapologetic. There will be times when you walk into a room and no one there is quite like you until the day you begin to share your stories. My name is Angelina, and I spent my whole summer with my little sister, you tell the class, your voice stronger than it was a minute ago. Reading books and telling stories, and even though we were right on our block, it was like we got to go everywhere. So she might not have traveled by plane or boat or taxi or train, but she traveled with her little sister too, with her family, through their books. They shared experiences together. Do you think she's unapologetic for that? Right, she's feeling brave. Her voice is getting stronger, and she says, I love what I did over the summer. Just because I didn't travel doesn't make it not as special. She's unapologetic. Your name is like my sister's, Rigoberto says. Her name is Angelina too. They just learned only a few things about her, and already people are starting to make connections. They're starting to learn about other people. And all at once, in the room where no one else is quite like you, the world opens itself up a little bit wider to make some space for you. Getting to know people is how you make friends. It's how you learn to love others in your life. Friends, family, neighbors, teachers, classmates. Learning about others is very important, especially before you judge them. Prejudice. This is the day you begin to find the places inside your laughter and your lunches, your books, your travels, and your stories. Where every new friend has something a little like you and something else so fabulously not quite like you at all. The end. Oh, I just love this book so much. Love it, I love it. Okay, so we talked about those words. We talked about prejudice, judging people unfairly without getting to know them. And we talked about that word unapologetic, not apologizing for who you are or what you believe in, what you celebrate, what you look like, what you wear. Not apologizing for that. So what I want you to do is I want you to take out a blank piece of paper and a pencil, and then you can use crayons or markers. That's up to you. We're gonna draw a big heart in the middle of our page here. So a big heart, oh, there we go. We're gonna draw a big heart in the middle of our page, like that. With our crayons, markers, you can have a red heart or a pink heart or whatever color heart you want. So drawing a heart in the middle of your page. And if you need extra time to go find some supplies or draw your heart, remember you can always pause the video if you need. Right. Okay. And then inside, what we're gonna do today is we're gonna write some of the things that we are unapologetic for. Maybe you're unapologetic for your religion, your culture, what you believe in, what you look like, what you like to eat. You are deciding. I talked about that I'm unapologetic for being tall. So maybe I'm gonna write the word tall. You can write words, you can draw pictures. I'm gonna write the word tall. Tall. I wrote the word tall. I'm also unapologetic for being a big sister. I love being a big sister. My little sister Emma is my best friend, and she always will be. I'm unapologetic for her being in my life and for being her big sister. So maybe I'll draw a picture. You're adding more detail. I'm just going quickly, but after we're done with our video, you can add more detail, add more things that you're unapologetic for. I'm gonna add our hair. Maybe my gray marker's running out. There we go. So I drew my sister and me. Some other things that I'm unapologetic for is being a girl. I love being a woman, being a girl. Maybe I'll write girl. Oh, I use some sound spelling. Girl. Writing words and writing things that you're unapologetic for in your heart. Okay, friends, thank you for being such great listeners today. I will see you next week for, I believe, some crafternoon. So have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you next week. Bye, friends.